Souderton Borough. And as you just heard, this meeting is being recorded via Zoom. Please rise for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for everyone that's present tonight, especially those that are here for a very special occasion. Lord, give us wisdom and guidance, and it's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Please remain standing for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United America, and to the republic of sin, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the secretary please note the attendance for the purposes of recording? Awesome, thank you. And will one of the counselors please motion up for approval of the consent agenda?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the January 6, 2025 council meeting, which includes the minutes from the December 2nd regular council meeting and the approval of the bills for the month of December 2024 and approval to pay reoccurring bills for January 2025.
I'll second.
Okay, I have motions by Councilors Littlefield and Munden for approval of the consent agenda as stated by Darrell. All are there any questions, concerns, amendments necessary for the meeting minutes or anything? Okay, hearing none, all in favor to approve that, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that approves unanimously. And Mr. Mayor, I'll turn it over to you for the first special presentation.
Thank you. Many of you are here tonight to do something pretty exciting. Souderton Borough is appointing Officer Jeff Lukens as our first sergeant in a long time. Since Sergeant Schertzberg, we've not had that position filled, but we this year, 2024, we went through an extensive process to fill that leadership position, and Jeff, by far, is very, very qualified. He's community oriented, and he's been a real asset to Souderton Borough's police department since he was hired in 2012. So we are really looking forward to Jeff stepping up, taking on his sergeant's position, and really making it his own and helping the force. Jeff's a really popular guy in Souderton Borough, as is evidenced by not only all the officers in the room, but a lot of just people from Souderton who's gotten to know Jeff over the years. So that says a lot, Jeff. We really, really appreciate you. And I promised Jeff that we would take it slow when we swear him in. We'll do that now. And then after that, as soon as we're done, Jeff will take some pictures, and then I think you're all welcome to join in the police station side, inside the station, not in the lobby, for festivities, including, I don't know what. Jeff, would you like to bring anybody up to assist?
Yes, my father and sister.
Right. You come on up.
We do it. I, Jeffrey P. Lukens. I, Jeffrey P. Lukens, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the Commonwealth, and the Constitution of the Commonwealth. And I will discharge the duties, of police sergeant with fidelity. The police sergeant with fidelity. I do further swear. I will uphold, obey, and enforce the law without consideration. To a person's race, color, sex, religious creed, sexual orientation, age, national origin, ancestry, handicap, and with that, Officer Lukens, Sergeant Lukens. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry to say you. Yeah. Thank you all. I was supposed to get everybody out. Your first student. Yes. Thank you, the other, we got help.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement happening.
There's a zoning officer. There's no cookies. Pause. I saw you pictures of it, but it was really well designed, very well done.
How are you? Let's see.
I think Phil
Come out. I know.
or Jim will.
You might just be over. I'm still there.
I just choose somebody I knew would be offended. Get ready. Okay, that was very nice. I see Jessica's not here tonight, so Penny, have an update from the library.
Turn this around.
Oh, yes, but
So good evening, everyone. The library was open today during the day. So if anybody needed to get out of the house on this snowy day, the library was a resource. And I see that it's supposed to snow again on Saturday. So if you want to stock up on cookbooks or reading material or anything, you can see the library. I did want to say that February is Love Your Library Month, and kicking that off will be on Saturday, February 1st, the wine tasting event. It's from 7 to 10 at the library. It's a very fun event. And this year we're adding live music from the local group Danielle and Jennifer. And tickets can be purchased on the library website. Other than that, no other update. The library is going strong. We're at or exceeding levels of the pre-COVID in terms of our activities and distributions and all of that. So it's good to see the library in full swing. Thanks, everyone.
Mr. Mayor, you're up again. I really have nothing except Jeff isn't here, but we've asked Holly, even in Souderton, but well, the tree lighting, the parade, both were exceptionally done. So thanks to our police department, our public works crew, and of course, our staff. That's all I have, but Julie, I think, has a comment.
Yes, I have a shameless plug. My daughter is with the Souderton area school district marching band. They're having their annual bag bingo on February 21st. And I have a QR code. John, I'm going to give it to you after I'm done. My husband couldn't be here because he did his marching band meeting tonight. It's $35 before or at the door it's 40. 7 to 9, bring your own drinks. So everyone over 21 can attend. It sold out really fast. So last year it was sold out before, like 2 months before. So if anyone's interested, have any questions, let me know. I'm Thanks for the plug.
Okay, Chief. First, I want to thank council for what is happening. You've been very supportive through this entire process. It's taken us quite a while. And we did everything third party. The testing was fair. The interviews were fair. And I'm very happy that also be promoted. As you said, he's not asking the community, he's not asking the police department, and he's to make my life a lot easier. So I'm very appreciative for it. So thank you very much. You should be received my report for December. I'm good for every number, but we did 1% less calls in 2024 than we did in 2023. Our arrests were down. Part of the reason that being in 2023 we cleared out our warrant drawer. We served all the 2 of our warrants, so that was some of the numbers. We did have some increases in our crime rates. As you're aware, we had some problems over the summer in the park, which are still continuing, but we're dealing with that as they happen. So between receipt of that, as the mayor said, the parade and the reindeer run were fantastic. Very few issues, if any. My report for 2024 is being compiled as we speak. I have it to you shortly. The only 2 additions I have are, I have yet to hear anything else from PennDOT on the school zone on Broad Street, which I wasn't expecting with the holidays. But I hope to hear something soon. And the bus patrol system is back up and running for us. I wrote 9 citations today from December 1. We're expecting more coming in. Some of them were just delayed. So those all went up today. It's very hard for us to compile those numbers because we typically get them 4 to 6 weeks after they happen. So it's hard for me to keep track for you. But the full number will be in the annual report. So that's all I have. Questions for Chief? And then thank you, sir. Thank you. Public Works.
Yeah, Public Works. I think everybody should copy of my report. I'll just hit a couple of the big things. Decorations all got up pretty quickly again this year. They'll be coming down probably the end of this week or next week. We're getting them down. And we're able to get all the hero banners down. They're all down and in order in the office as well. We had quite a few that are starting to get created. And most likely some of them need old. I think you notify the resident that family so they had one food. We did finish up the sewer main on Garfield Avenue between School Lane and Fifth. We now have the laterals to do, which we'll poke it down depending on whether we open one with a full lateral trench and put it back together. You can do 2 in a day and you have nice weather, but we will pluck them like that. Snow, we've been out 3 times already for salting. Everything's been going pretty good. We got our first delivery of salt today. So, got it.
Question for Steve? Just one for me, and I don't know if you know, Jessica might keep that, or I know what you mean, the veterans banners, some of them are like Snow White. I don't, do you recall what the program was? Was it just the life of the banner itself? It's more.
Yeah, they
they didn't let us know that, like, the lifespan of it. Since then, I reached out to Janet that we did them with in Lansdale. We did them through her. And she says about 3 years is the lifespan of them. They're roughly $135, and that's, so the resident would then have to purchase another banner, and we would hang it in the same place as where it was placed before. So the resident or whoever purchases it, like we did one with my grandfather, so I own my grandfather's banner that's hanging in town. So his is owned by us, and then so if we would want to do another one, we would just purchase it again. I will say that the ones that are hanging that are that snow white, as soon as you touch them, everything turns that color. So a lot of them are just disposed, because they're so brittle and so like roughy once they come down. So if anybody knows theirs is missing, I would just have them reach out, and the information's in the lobby here, and then we also have it posted. It's the same flyer that before. They just fill out the form, now everything down to Jen, and she sends Josh the banners off here, and then we just hang them. We purchased all the brackets, the borough purchased the brackets, and then we take care of storing and hanging, but the banners actually come back with it.
Yeah, and are you notifying those when they're obsolete?
Yeah, so Janet, whoever ordered the banner is getting notified. So, Janet kept, in the beginning, we didn't keep as good of record because the forms weren't submitted to us, they were submitted to Janet, but she had them all. So we can just reach out to her. And I believe she still has everybody's original photo on file. So you just have to resubmit the form with the payment, not necessarily bring the photo again.
Awesome, thank
But
you.
if they have questions, give us a call and we'll help them out.
Okay, perfect. Anything else for Steve? All right.
Hi, filling in for John Trente. Good evening. Believe you all have a copy of the solicitor's report that John submitted. I'll just touch on a couple of items that may be of interest to the public. Number 3 is John prepared and forwarded to the Borough Manager a professional services agreement that is for applicants in 2025. It covers various fees, including legal fees and escrow setup. That is a template agreement that when applicants file for conditional uses or certain land development type issues, they'll get a copy of that updated agreement to fill out and to be used throughout the process. And the 2 other items, the first is the town gate commons. You may recall that council approved various waivers at the last meeting where I attended for the Goddard School. After that, John issued his solicitor's approval letter, and he sent the declaration of unilateral restrictions and covenants to the applicant for signature. Recently, the applicant did submit a sketch plan which covers the remaining commercial space. It doesn't have to do with the Starbucks or the Goddard School, but it is potentially proposing that the remaining commercial space be converted to residential. So this is going to be reviewed by the Planning Commission in February. That's that property, where we are with that property. There's another property, the Hawk property, land development, 595 East Broad Street. And there is no update. There's been an extension on this through spring, so nothing is really happening right now. But land development plans have been submitted. They were reviewed by the Planning Commission in November. There are going to be some changes, revisions, more detailed plans will be up for approval by the council sometime in the first quarter of 2025. The project consists of a new commercial building, parking, infrastructure improvements, including stormwater. And that's all I have for the solicitor's report.
Okay. Any questions for Ken? Thank you, ma'am. All right, last but not least, manager.
I don't have a ton for you. I have a lot going on behind the scenes, so I isn't quite ready. We're doing a ton of our end of year wrap up for the end of 2024. I'll be meeting with finance committee in February to go over like final numbers, once we can get everything paid and out. So we'll have that for you then after I meet your finance committee. We're preparing for our audit. We are getting ready to advertise a new hire for the wastewater department. So we remember that was budgeted for the first quarter of 2025. They have been down one person since that left. So when he retired, Tyler moved into his spot and we never replaced Tyler. So we got through the year, which was great, saved some money in salaries, but my guys are tired. They're working every other weekend right now. So we're advertising that Tyler has the feelers out. I'm hoping to have that process kick-started this week, and then we'll go through the interview process. Christine has managed and launched the next sessions for our reconciliation program. So we have a boot camp starting January 18th, and they're going to be kind of headquartered in the pool room, the party room, and then they will be doing like outside stuff with the letters pads. They'll be in there, and then we have a Zumba session and a yoga session. Yoga is sold out, right? And then Zumba still has classes, and those are up on breakfast. Additionally, we had two college kids that work for us over break and are still helping in the office, but they were able to enter all of the borough addresses into our recreation system. So that allows us to use GIS in order to sell memberships. So the manual resident, non-resident rates that we have to do goes away. So residents will be able, or non-residents will be able to go in and purchase virtual memberships entirely online without having to go through the account approval process, which saves a step and allows people to do it in real time rather than having to wait. It's by doing that, people lose interest. There was a delay. So we were really fortunate. They got, how many addresses were there? Like 2,000? They ran a really like today now. So that is awesome and a tremendous help, and will take some burden off of the office staff. Newsletter articles, the due date was Friday. For our first newsletter had an impressive return. I'm really happy with what we got back. Stephanie and Christine are teamed up in the office, kind of proofreading, getting it all organized, and we'll submit it over to the company and hopefully have it out in early spring, which is great. Last thing is we are still working on transitioning our accounting software and billing software. The hope is for us to be trained in February or March and go live beginning of second quarter. So that it's an intensive process. They are in the process of migrating all of our data over and should be very soon when we're ready to go live with that, which will enable the online payments, streamline that, the ACH payments, auto pay, paperless billing, all of that will go live at that time. And the rest of my stuff falls under this.
What's the official title for the wastewater? Is it wastewater treatment operator?
It's an operator. Likely we won't hire someone who already has their operator's license.
That's what I'm saying.
Something that we've done with our last few hires that you have to work for wastewater in order to get your license. So a lot of people don't come in with them. They'll come in as just an operator. And then if they don't have their license, we'll work with them through the process. There's like they have to work for so long in a plant in order to qualify for their license. So it's a process to do that. It's usually within like the first year, but they can still do some of the weekend activities, like going in and checking levels and different things under the supervision or guidance of a trained operator. So they will still be able to give us some relief on the weekends, even if they aren't fully certified.
Got it. Coach development.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. Everything you know around well is like you're saying like nothing, or you're just working on that. Some of that stuff is decades. Trying to push.
We're getting there. And the office staff has been tremendous in pushing that stuff forward. We have a really, really great team in the office now. I'm really happy with where we're at. We all work really great together. And I think as we transition into the new accounting software, things will just get better because it will be a little bit less annotated and more streamlined.
Thanks for the update. And prior to the business, is there any other questions for Sarah?
There's one quick question with the newsletter. Did you want assistance from the public outreach committee to review the?
Yeah, absolutely. So when Stephanie's like condensing it all, like I've just been shooting her, like I've been getting them in all different formats and with different things. So she's streamlining it all. She's pulling from like fluff articles, and then we can shoot over. We can use in your committee to review the information that's going out. I would love it if next time we could get some more, but we had response from the library, which is wonderful. The theater responded. We had great stuff from them. Well, starting events, the soccer group, we had a ton of rough stuff to put in there. So I think it is, for the first one, I was nervous about what kind of response we would get, but I really am proud of what people submitted and what we were able to compile. Stephanie's working on like recycling stuff because of the change in the recycling grant awards. So she was gonna pull some like great information on recycling and the impact that it has on the borough and the potential grant funding and more information for people, like if you don't properly rinse your recycling and that how that impacts. So she's been kind of working and compiling all of that stuff as well. And then we can shoot it over to the committee to look at it, get final approval before we shoot it over to the government.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I have a question. Are we meeting on the 20th?
Meeting on the 21st.
The 21st?
20th is
Martin Luther King.
kind of last year is a new borough holiday, so it's advertised for Tuesday the 21st.
Okay, thank you.
Good question, Matt. So work session Tuesday, the 21st at 7 p.m. back in the conference room. Okay, let's go to committee report. Sorry. All right, let me give a brief update from the executive committee then. So work is to follow, but this year will be more of the same of the previous year. First, I want to big thank you to Sarah. We say it to Sarah all the time, but the mayor just kind of implied of how smoothly things are going after a tumultuous start to last year. But thank you very much for keeping us on track and organized and hitting all the, big things that this council has attempted to address. So we will continue down a fiscal responsibility, but establishing good budgetary parameters. This year, Sarah's already began to do it, but we're doing something what I might call activity-based costing, where you look at the budgets from the bottom up and see what it takes to build and support the services that our employees provide for this borough. We'll continue to do a deeper dive on policies and procedures. We had a lot of polls. Some of you that attend regularly, you've heard this over and over, but it's part of our, when we were getting ready to replace Mike, part of the just whole analysis that we prepared for the new manager. And of course, also doing it with a spirit of continuous improvement. So as Sarah uncovers different problems that she identifies either on her own or some of them that we just know of, then we're mobilizing and prioritizing these project paths and initiatives as we go through. The first thing Sarah did is build an amazing team in the office, and that front end, because not us up here that are interacting day in and day out with all of you and the people out in the borough. It's the ladies in the office, and we totally appreciate everything you do. Steve and Chief, that's not to denigrate you guys in any way, because you're out there obviously day in day out as well. I might add just two more quick comments. One is this year will be, it's the third year for which the current police contract expires. So we'll be doing a police contract negotiation or renegotiation that we'll need to wrap up before the end of the year. It's not something we can punt to the next council, but Stephanie Hall, who's not here tonight, she'll lead the committee for the contract renegotiation. And finally, there are typically 9 councilors here and a mayor. There will be several vacancies, so the current council is in the, most of us are in now, starting today, the 4th year of a 4-year term. So that will create potentially six vacancies. At any rate, there will be, even if some of us decide to rerun, that will be 6 people that will necessarily need to go on the ballot. So if you have interest in running for one of the council seats, you should really think about it, do your due diligence. Those of us that have been through it will be glad to offer our input and support it as possible. But you really should check into it, and you'll think, I'm not exactly sure the exact dates, but you'll need to get on the ballot and start petitions as early as February. So just look online with the county and see what the rules are and everything. I know both parties will rally up, depending on which party you help to help guide you through that process and get you on the ballot for the primaries, and I think it's April this year, and then of course at the general election, but the primary. The general for November, yes. So the primary is in April, and then in November. Okay, so that's all I have. No other committee reports. We'll move on then. Now I'd like to open it up for public comment. So if you're a resident of the borough or property or business owner, I'd love to invite you to the podium, and please introduce yourself, your address, and I'd love to hear from you.
I didn't let you down this month.
Right.
I'm looking for some assistance in identifying, there's an alley, I'm sorry, Tom McIntyre, 142 Weil Avenue. There's an alley along 146 Weil Avenue that has been a private alley for as long as all the residents are aware. I received a citation in July 13th for obstructing highways and public passageways. I was parked in the alley. Had much communication, tried to do it without coming to council, although I did email, I think, Tracy and 3 people from Ward 1. I received a letter from John Torrente that stated that it is a private alley on October 10th. I forwarded the copy to Chief Newhall on October 24th. October 30th, Chief Newhall responded that the police department has been made aware of the comments of your letter. November 5th, I received a response to a citizen complaint from Chief Newhall, in which he stated, you concluded your form by writing that you had a report from Souderton Borough Solicitor John Torrente, in which he informed you that the alley was private and not public. I don't know the validity of that, and as the solicitor does not report to me, I have no control over what he may relay to you. So either Chief Newhall didn't understand the letter saying it's private, or he believes I forged it since I forwarded it to him, not John. November 10th of this year, we had 2 officers come to the area because the owner of 146 and while I'm at 142, we had our properties line surveyed and there were stakes up. At that point, there were no trespassing signs put up because the resident of 116 Green Street, we believe, had taken down some of the property stakes. We don't know. We didn't see them. But we forwarded that information to Officer Dane Hagee, which was a copy of the letter from John Trenti and a follow-up email from John Trenti. And then on November 21st, we heard from Officer Hagee. And he said, I have spoken to several different officials regarding this in the last couple of days. From what I've been told, it is a public use alley. I'm trying to get this side of the room to communicate with that side of the room, and I don't know where else to go. So I'm coming to you guys.
Let me comment. We'll caution that we won't debate and discuss this further after my comment this evening. I'll be glad to facilitate a meeting with the manager and some other pertinent parties to discuss everything.
I'd appreciate that.
What I can also tell you is a resident that has an alley similarly as yours. There are some exceptions because there are alleys, I believe, in which there are official easements. However, most of the alleys, we as property owners, we own the alley, these so-called private alleys to the center of the alley. So if you were to look at your own property line, you would.
Well, our property's a little different, and we could do this at the meeting. It'd be fine.
But as a courtesy, as a service to the borough, the accessibility for trash and emergency services purposes is super critical to keep the alley accessible at all.
There's never been any borough truck in that alley. It services 6 homes. So I would appreciate you facilitating the meeting. That'd be great. Thank you, Tracy.
Anyone else?
I don't have a question. I'd just like to say a big public thank you to Laura for helping me get all the permits, my use and occupancy. I poured a bunch of concrete sidewalk and she was great.
We think so too. Thank you. That's awesome. Is that why you came?
Well, I love zoning. I'm a big fan.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, then public comments section is closed and we'll move to the business of the evening.
I will tee up the first few. Thank you. The first of the resolution 2025-01, which is setting your police pension contributions. So there's a state law that sets public employee pension contributions at 5%. Borough Council by resolution can choose to lower that or alter it in some way. This is something we have to do every year. I will remind you all that by contract, you've agreed that the pension contributions are at 0. So we need to honor what we've agreed to in the contract. So this just memorializes what you've already established in your negotiated contract.
Okay, that's resolution 2025-01. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-01.
I'll second.
Yeah, motion by Councilor Huber and Munden for approval of resolution 2025-01 to memorialize chief's pension contribution that is stated in the contract. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, sir.
The next one is 2025-02. So we have two pension plans, one for our non-uniform employees, one for our police department employees. The non-uniform has in past practice been set at 3%. By law, it can be up to 5%. And that's at the discretion of council. I have it written at 3%, like we've done previously. That is not by any type of contract.
Understood. It's same way we run more or less with 3%, so may I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-02 as presented.
Awesome.
Yeah, motion by Councilors Littlefield and Rogers for approval of resolution 2025-02 presented. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right, hearing none, all in favor of that motion, please say aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Sarah, moving right along.
Right, 2025-03 is the appointment of zoning officer. So when I first came on, life was moving really fast and we punted a couple of things out. Right to know officer and zoning officer were two of those that I did not take on that I initially seen, but were held by my predecessors. I've since brought right to know back, and I'd like to do the same now with zoning officer now that I am. So this is just appointing myself as zoning officer, and it would remove the prior.
Excuse me, remove what?
Who was the prior appointment that existed?
Mr. Tory. Yeah, okay. All right, then may I have a motion?
President, I make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-03.
I'll second.
Yeah, motion by Councilor Stuber and Middlefield for approval of resolution 2025-03 to appoint Sarah Jarrett as the zoning officer. You have additional questions? All right.
I have a question. Do you mind?
It's not typical.
I'll ask after that. Thank you.
But go ahead.
Well, will it change any of the permit process, any of the stuff like that, inspections, all that?
No,
Same. Right. Thank you.
Next one is
Hang on one second.
Okay.
So all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, yeah.
next one is the appointment of planning commission member Calvin Munden's term was expiring, and he very graciously with minimal arm twisting to renew his term. So it was neat doing our meeting, not Julie's. So I'm asking that you reappoint in the planning commission term to expire 12/31/20.
Okay, so that's a 4-year term, right?
Yep.
All right, go ahead, Donna.
I'll make a motion to appoint Calvin Munden to the planning commission with the term to expire 12/31/2020.
Second.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Okay, motions by Councilor Rogers and Littlefield to appoint our beloved Calvin Munden to the planning commission for an additional 4-year term, which will expire 12/31.
I will.
2023. Okay. Besides Julie's abstention, because it is a significant other for her, or any other. Any heavy questions coming we could do? All right, hearing none, all in favor of reappointing Calvin for 4 years, please say aye.
Hey, oh, yeah.
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 We're anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah, got like a neck. Wait, we can't hear all right. Okay, any, and that's also unanimous.
Right, next one is appointment to the Industrial Development Authority. Craig Philby was appointed, and just attended the first meeting, so he's ready to give it another try. So he's going to be reappointed, and has accepted that his term would end 12/31/2025.
5 years. 5 years. Well,
Go ahead, Ben. The Industrial Development Authority met for the first time. I got there since 2014. My leadership, it's really awful. Like basically an inactive, it's an inactive entity, but we have to exist because we have some business outstanding. And once that wraps up, we can. Why, well, take it out of the charter. Okay, he might not make. All right, let's have a motion for credit.
Mr. President, I make a motion to appoint Craig Silsby to the Industrial Development Authority with the term to expire 12/31/2029.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Council Rogers and Munden for the appointment of Craig Silsby to the Industrial Development Authority for a term which will expire December 31st of 2029. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, now we'll go to the zoning hearing board.
Right, so Kelly Charlotte is the current chair of zoning hearing board, has agreed to serve another term. With a 3-year term ending 12/31/2025.
We're really appreciative of the volunteers, and some of you out there might consider some of these positions in the future too. Okay, can I have a motion for Kelly?
Mr. President, I make a motion to appoint Kelly Scarlett to the zoning hearing board with a term to expire 12/31/2025.
Perfect. Thank you, Ed. I have a motion by Councilor Littlefield and Huber for the appointment of Kelly Scarlett to the zoning hearing board for the term that expires December 31st, 2027. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Now I think we'll switch to K.
Yeah. So we're going to have a public hearing on the proposed ordinance 24-812-14. And we'll first need a motion to open the hearing for this proposed ordinance.
And then you'll further read and further explain it. Okay, I have a motion to open the public hearing.
Mr. President, I make a motion to open a public hearing for ordinance number 24-812-14. I'll second.
Thank you. And I will go ahead and give a brief summary of the ordinance and also mark as exhibits the documents which present evidence of proper publication under the Borough Code. We have an Exhibit A, an Exhibit B, and an Exhibit C. Exhibit A is the affidavit of publication. We have Exhibit B is the actual text that was published for the proposed ordinance to be duly advertised so the public can be aware of it. And then we have an Exhibit C, which is evidence and a receipt that demonstrates that the text of the ordinance was filed with the Law Library of Montgomery County. And getting to a brief summary of the ordinance, it's pretty simple. It's basically two purposes. One is to appoint a solicitor for the named Michelle R. Portnoff Esquire and Portnoff Law Associates as a solicitor specifically for assisting the borough with collecting unpaid claims for sewer and trash under the Municipal Claims and Tax Lien Act. And the second part of this ordinance establishes a schedule of attorney's fees and collection fees for the same process. And in order to, and the fees, this ordinance, the previous ordinance was updated in 2012. So this is a new fee schedule that has been contracted with and proposed by Portnoff Law Associates. So at this point, we can open up discussion for any public comment on this, and then we can go to council comment or questions.
Okay, if you're a resident or business or property owner in the borough, I invite you to come to the podium, state your name and address, and you may comment on the posted ordinance. Because I know you've all done your due diligence and what.
Michael Pipe, 570 East Garfield Avenue, Souderton. I'm just curious, I have a question. How many outstanding sewer and trash bills do we have? Do we know a total amount of that versus how much we expect to pay to a solicitor to collect them? What would be the net gain from this?
First by, they'll be reimbursed by the person that is delinquent. It is my goal to only use this for trash and for sewer that we've been unable to collect. The fees will be applied to the lien that's placed against the property eventually, or they'll pay them when they pay their delinquent bill. I don't have a firm number on trash. In sewer accounts, we just did posting and collection of outstanding accounts. We had about 65 accounts that were delinquent. We did 43 postings, and I spread off 2 properties. By the time we were done, we were able to collect like $40,000 in outstanding revenue. Wow. So we're tackling the sewer on our own to help reduce some of the costs and help us collect our revenue quicker. Because we're spending that money to process sewage, we're spending that money to collect trash regardless. The trash is a little bit harder for me to collect because there isn't a service that I use for it all. Mascara collects regardless, but honestly, I don't want them to stop collecting trash because it affects the neighbors. It doesn't.
Just going to say, I'm sure the neighbors appreciate that.
Trash for people that are repetitively not paying their bills will have to go through the collection process. I don't really have a threat on it. With sewer, I'm able to threaten to shut off. I'm able to shut off with the help of North Penn Water, and that was the path we took to collect the delinquent sewer account. I will say that when we were pursuing the sewer account, there were some people who called in and made right on both of their bills. So they went back and paid their delinquent sewer and their delinquent trash. So I haven't evaluated where we're at with trash since we started the sewer process. Because I was waiting on the ordinances to be passed in order to move forward with the report now. I didn't want to do the work twice because I'm gonna have to prove that information again.
So I assume that you're dealing with people who have received numerous notices, please pay your bill, they haven't paid them. Are they getting one final chance where you'll say, look, if you don't pay this, then you'll have to be responsible for legal fees for collection? Okay.
You're gonna go to the next step. And then Portnoy has a progression process with their collection. So their first attempt is a collection service. And then the next one is, hey, like, you're gonna get these fees if you don't pay. And then the next one is like 3 or 4 steps before they're putting on the property. Our output that will pay Portnoy per account is like $40 or 20, between 25 and 40. That we pay for like the mailing and all of that we have to pay, that we're able to get reimbursed for once they finally pay their bill. But otherwise, every other fee is passed through in the lead cost.
I appreciate all the explanation, and I assume they're all residences. None of these are commercial properties.
Most properties have like a dumpster service.
Right.
Recently, and in that much detail to identify. Most of my sewer delinquent accounts were residences, but I don't know for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate all the information. Thank you.
Or pretty much never did that before. I mean, if you were delinquent, you kind of order that. So you always have a huge undertaking. Like I would think that how much about their and you work with people on payment plans and
No, unreasonable. Again, like if we shut someone off, it was because they weren't competing with us. It wasn't because they were trying to make payments. If we have I think it's like per the account that are on payment plans where they're paying down their bills. And that's something we're happy to work with people on. We just want them to call us and make right. A lot of people are just kind of ignoring it until it goes away. But again, the borough is incurring those fees for processing computer and collecting trash, and we need some kind of
Accountability.
yeah, something to get us back on track.
Sounds like you're handling it the right way.
We're trying.
Appreciate it.
There's no other public comment, we can move on. Is there any other? We can move on, and does council have any, comment or additional questions?
Any clarifications for council?
Okay, so we can have a motion to close the public hearing portion related to the ordinance.
Motion for the closure.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to close public hearing for ordinance 24-812-14.
I'll second that. Okay, so move. Sarah, but any other business for this evening?
We need to take action on that.
We just need one final motion to actually enact the ordinance.
I have it out of order on her motion.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's, yeah. All right, may I have a motion for the adoption of the new fee schedule by court of law?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 24-812-14 as advertised.
I'll second.
Okay, motions by Councilor Banana and Littlefield. For the adoption of ordinance 24-812-14 of that. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously, and if there is no other business, I'll move to adjourn. Yeah, we'll move to adjourn. Thank you guys for coming.
Stop.
Good.